George was a simple man living in a small town. He did not have much wealth or social status, but he had a sincere heart and a modest dream to open a small shop selling incense sticks. With his hard-working hands, George personally decorated the store, neatly arranged each box of incense, and kept the space warm and tidy. To him, the shop was like a part of his soul. George was not only selling products, he was also bringing comfort to everyone who came by. He always greeted customers with a gentle smile, listened to them patiently, and responded with kind words. People visited not just to buy incense, but also to feel the sincerity radiating from George himself. The message behind that simple image is profound. When we live in fear or lack confidence, others will end up making decisions for our lives. George began his story as an example of humility, passion in his work, and the belief that kindness always leaves a mark on people's hearts. After a short time, George's incense shop began attracting attention. Townspeople came by more often, and his sales grew steadily. George felt joyful knowing his hard work was paying off. To make the shop stand out even more, he decided to hang a large sign at the front with the words, "Fragrant incense sticks available in our shop." The words seemed simple, but they carried George's pride and love for his work. Indeed, the sign quickly caught the eyes of passers-by, and more customers arrived. The aroma of incense in the air felt like a symbol of success drawing closer. However, one day a sharply dressed man walked into the shop. He frowned at the sign and said to George, "The word fragrant is unnecessary. All incense sticks are fragrant." George hesitated for a moment, but not wanting to offend the customer, he finally agreed to remove the word. After the word fragrant was erased from the sign, George felt a little disappointed, yet he convinced himself that maybe the man was right. A few days later, another gentleman entered the shop. Wearing glasses and speaking with authority, he looked at the sign and remarked, "Why write in our shop? Everyone can see this is your shop, there's no need to state the obvious." George felt confused, but once again he nodded in agreement. The painter was called back and erased another part of the sign. Not long after, another visitor came in and insisted, "The word available is also redundant. If the store is open, of course the incense is available." George hesitated, but fearful of being judged, he complied once more. Eventually, yet another person offered his advice. "You don't need this sign at all. Anyone walking by can already see it's an incense shop." This time, George had lost all confidence in himself and let the painter erase everything. What once was a clear, proud sign had now become an empty, lifeless board. When the sign was gone, the shop itself also began to change. In the past, customers came in and out constantly, filling the place with warm and pleasant fragrance. Now silence and heaviness lingered. Fewer people came until almost no one visited at all. The shop that had once been George's pride slowly turned into a place filled with worry and fear. He sat quietly on his wooden stool, staring at the blank space where the sign once hung, his heart tangled in confusion and despair. One day, an old friend stopped by. The moment he walked in, he felt the gloomy atmosphere that covered the entire shop. After listening to George's story, the friend could not hold back and scolded him. "You let others erase your voice and identity piece by piece. That sign was not just a board, it was the very soul of your shop." Those words struck George deeply. For the first time, he realized his greatest mistake was not the advice he had followed, but his lack of trust in himself. After hearing his friend's heartfelt reproach, George sat in silence for a long while. It was as if a flame was reignited within him. The very next morning, he called the painter back and asked him to repaint the sign exactly as it had been at the beginning. "Fragrant incense sticks available in our shop." When the familiar words appeared again, George felt a sense of relief. It was not merely a signboard, but a declaration of his faith and the values he wished to uphold. Soon after, customers began to return. Sales grew steady, the warm atmosphere came back, and once again the fragrance of incense filled the shop. But this time, George was different. He no longer wavered at every suggestion from strangers. He understood that not every piece of advice was meant for him, and that living only to please others would eventually erase his identity. George had learned a profound lesson. In life, your shop is your journey, and your signboard is your voice, your values, and your dreams. If you let fear take control, you will end up living a life written by someone else. Only when you are brave enough to trust yourself can you truly write your own story.